Yes, there's my beautiful mug, a little bit more clean shaved. I'm currently a software engineer working at Telmate. We specialize in inmate communications. Well, not quite there yet. We'll go a little bit about me. I'm a driven bug hunter. And when you write in C and you have a memory leak, you're pretty driven to fix that. Or cry, one of the two happens. I like video gaming, and as you guys can all hear, I like to smoke and taste beer. So a little bit about Telmate. We are a corrections phone industry. We have inmates in the US and Canada. We do about 2,000 simultaneous calls at a given time. We have 89 million calls a year, with 1 billion calls since we've started. According to some of these companies here, that's not that impressive. Our number's been blown out of the water. But what is impressive is the problem that we face. We have 8,000 pre-recorded prompts. We have 244,000 text-to-speech files. We have 7 different languages, 30 different servers that need to access those, as well as 300 places in the world where they need to be available 24/7. It's a lot of files that we have to constantly manage. What could go wrong? So these three, I skipped through all of them. These are all the same problem, right? Updating prompts on that many servers. Adding prompts. They all end up with missing prompts. TTS needs to be in real time. How do you solve that? It's hard to reconcile what's on each of the servers. Local testing is a pain in the ass. And with that said, local testing transmits to, it's hard to test that many languages, that many files in QA and production. So how do we solve this currently? What you could do, I guess, you could bite the bullet, copy each file to all the servers, and, copy them up, SCP, boom. You have a ton of servers, and let's do it. What does that look like? We're copying files. Yeah, that's basically your life at that point. Marketing wants to make a change, you have to copy a file. The voice doesn't sound right, you have to copy a file. Eventually, you go insane. A little bit of pros and cons on that. It's great. You have 1 server, 2 servers, maybe 3. Very easy. Everyone knows how to copy things around. In fact, after this, I'll be copying my slides to this USB stick. But it's not scalable. And not only scalable code-wise, but the more important type of scalable, it is not organizationally scalable. It's not, it is automatable, but it's not what you want to do in a bigger organization. And again, keeping multiple copies of the same thing is hard. So when you do this flow, this is kind of what it looks like. You have your sound prompt here, you need to get to these servers. You ask your really happy developer. He's still smiling right now, by the way. He hops on his computer, and he uploads them. Boom, 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 boom. However, in order to make sure he got there, he has to go check the servers, check all the files, look for his file, MD5 sum, whatever. At the end of the day, he's supposed to make a phone call to listen for it. It's not repeatable. Well, it is repeatable. He'll be repeating that probably every day for the rest of his career. So what else can we do? NFS. So you decide to use NFS. However, as you're using NFS, you find out there's a network blip and your server crashes. Your IO wait state, you now need to restart. and you have to go hide. So a little bit of that, NFS is more scalable, right? You have one entry point, one server, multiple entry access points into that one endpoint. It's slow. It can cause network blips, or it can be destroyed by network blips. If you have really sensitive bandwidth and your NFS is being very chatty, you can definitely start dropping packets very, very quickly. And it's hard to manage. It's painful, hard to manage. Because when you start worrying about IO wait states and stuff like that, and wedging your servers, you can do crazy stuff like fuse mounts and bind mounts to get around that. But it's very, very hard to manage multiple Asterisk servers. And my favorite choice, you can run around screaming. Kind of looks like this. So now that I've been here for a couple days, did I miss one? Is there anyone that does something different for their sound files? No one? Do you guys all use one of these three mechanisms? Use NFS? Anyone else use something different? Nope. All right. I was worried I missed one. So what's a better solution? Streaming. We are all modern companies, right? We all like things like CDNs and CloudFront and AWS. So why not bring that technology to our phone systems? The hardest part I found was coming up with a name. It's the hardest part of engineering. So first we had to get our use cases. What do we want to accomplish with streaming? We know we needed it. We know we wanted it. And now I guess FreeSwitch has it right out the door. But we want that on our Asterisk servers. We want to be able to play sound files, obviously. We need our TTS. Amazon has a really cool TTS service. It has a web API, you download a file. We want to be able to use stuff like that. We also want to be able to share voicemails between Asterisk servers. Sorry. Want to be able to share voicemails, and we want to be able to cache it in a way that makes sense to the business. We also need it to be performant. We need to assume things like cache isn't always correct. We need to leverage the file system to manage our expiration dates and times. That way we don't have to leverage another database, another data source. We also need to do things like if a prompt is expired, let the call go on. Download the prompt in the background. As well as if something errors out, we need to be able to handle this gracefully. And a quick story about that. When I was doing my first demo to my company, go to this gracefully part, talk about that. We would jump into the demo, press the button, but my web server wasn't on. So we're sitting there and I'm talking about how gracefully it fails, and we get nothing but static over the lines. Everyone's just like, oh. So yes, it needs to handle things gracefully. Because being on the cell phone, having static played at you, not fun. And most importantly, we need marketing to be able to get in there, make changes that don't require developer time. Again, looking at more organizationally scalable methodologies. So what does this flow look like? You have your Asterisk server. It identifies what language the call's in. If it does not have the prompt, it goes and downloads the prompt in the correct language. It plays the sound, the TTS, whatever, voicemail, and then the call goes on its way. If it does have it, it plays it. Asynchronously checks for updates, and then the call goes on its way. So, what does that look like? In order to do this, we had to do a couple things. I needed to test it. So I built this really simple app to test it. It looks like nothing, but allows us to add prompts. So let's add a prompt. Very simple, very easy, and we have a prompt. So you make a prompt, and the point of this wasn't to have this really beautiful, flashy web app. The point of this was, I'm making something, I need something to use to test it, something free to use to test it. And so what we did is we built this app, very, very simple. Thank you for the update. I really appreciate that right now. So first off, we're a Ruby shop. One of the things that we do is all of our phone systems are built in Rails. We have Asterisk, and all of our Aggie interfaces and everything are built in Rails. So to build this app for you guys, I did something simple, Rails new. Very, very difficult thing. Then some simple Mac TTS logic. Do you say, turn it to Slin, and then send the prompt out, basically. Very simple app, very, not much to do. Oh, and also add Bootstrap. Not much there in terms of what it can do. Let's just check if it works. So I got a GSM file. Let's quickly play that. And everybody knows iTunes cannot play GSM files. So I overclick that. My Mac will not know what that file is. So I'm going to play it over here. Just make sure it works.
Hello, Ertricon. I doubt my Mac can pronounce that right.
And it couldn't. But yes, so we got prompts. So now we've tested that. So let's start putting it together. So now you have an app. You know you can get sounds out of that app. That's the easy part. Now we need, and yes, showed you it worked on the PC. Now we need C code. Here's a little quick snippet of the C code. First, we want to check the sound file is viable, right? A viable sound file for us and does it exist, most importantly. If it doesn't exist, it's definitely not viable. But is it so expired, is the cache so expired that playing this might actually cause bad behavior? We do some standard C stuff, some malloc, Then we check for a request. We update the FS and we check for a request. And so I will demo this. So I'll definitely demo this. So we're going to call, so we have our Asterisk running, we have our web server running. Let's look at what the Asterisk looks like. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vagrant. I love it. Use it to manage all my VMs. So I'm just running a Vagrant CentOS 7 box on top of, for my Asterisk, and natively on my Mac here. Now, I don't have to run Vagrant for my Asterisk, but I wanted to use Asterisk 13 over here. My Mac runs Asterisk 11, compiling and recompiling different versions of Asterisk over and over again. It makes me sad. Come on. So that's what our dial plan looks like that we'll be calling into. Very simple, very easy. HitChat's very annoying. So basically, call this, make a call, hit the slipstream URL, download the welcome prompt in English, download the welcome prompt in English, and play it to the channel. However, thank you, updates, always. I feel like I'm running Windows. That is not my IP address anymore. It's my IP address this morning. So let's just change the IP. Just going to change my IP address real quick, because every time I switch rooms, I get a new one. And then let's make a call. So, made a call. Did I turn my sound off? Oh, real quick. Problem with doing things locally on conference Wi-Fi is things change all the time. Let's try that again. So basically, we were making a call, and that was our prompt, right? So the prompt we made the call, apologize for the delay, network isolation, I had to switch over to my phone Wi-Fi. So basically, that's the goal. That's what we want to do as an organization. So we are going to put this on GitHub. This will be available for everyone in the world.